Good evening. Hello, everyone. On behalf of Team Avatar and myavatar.com, I welcome you to the 20th day of our month long celebrations, the Diversity Mahotsav 2021. My name is Archana, and I will be your host for today. As we start, here are a few hygiene checks for a seamless virtual experience. Please close all other applications on your computer and log out from your organization's VPN to conserve internet bandwidth. Once again, extremely thrilled and delighted to welcome you all to the 20th day of Diversity Mahotsav. What is Diversity Mahotsav all about? We are celebrating diversity, celebrating you. Diversity Mahotsav is presented by myavatar.com, India's only diversity portal with jobs, events, skilling programs, webinars, and more for all the underrepresented groups at the workplace. For those who have just joined us today, we are delighted to have you on board. We hope you join us through this month for some riveting sessions and loads of learning. We would like to thank our partners for Diversity Mahotsav 2021. Ideology partners Cognizant, HCL Technologies Limited and Strive, supporting partners Faurecia India Private Limited, Logitech Engineering and Designs India Private Limited, Saint Cobain India Private Limited, Sodexo and Zorian Solutions, and our community partner, NASCOM. Our social media hashtags are hashtag Diversity Mahotsav, hashtag Celebrating Diversity. We look forward to you posting your experience at Diversity Mahotsav on your social media handles using these hashtags. Yesterday, in the 19th edition of Soundbites, we heard from Dr. Soundarya Rajesh, founder-president at Avatar Group, emphasizes on every single individual taking responsibility for ensuring inclusion at workplace. She spoke of change makers, champions at workplaces. So let's begin our 20th day with the 20th edition of Soundbites, a series where our founder-president, Dr. Soundarya Rajesh, clarifies some of the pertinent questions that she has been addressing on various aspects on diversity, equity, and inclusion in her 20-year career of being the subject matter expert in DEI. Dr. Soundarya is an award-winning pioneer in this field as she explains the importance of equitable workspaces. Her work in this space of DEI is unparalleled in the country. Dr. Soundarya Rajesh, a social entrepreneur who won several accolades and awards such as the 100 Women Achiever from the Government of India, Web Wonder Women by Twitter and Ministry of Women and Child Welfare, Winds of Change 2019 Award by the Forum of Inclusion at Minnesota, Women Transforming India Award, Golden Aviator Award, India's Most Innovative Diversity and Inclusion Leaders Awards, and so on, was once a second career woman who acted against the inequalities posed by the corporate world in recurring women candidates on career break. An inexorable advocate of the potential of women's workforce participation, Dr. Soundarya is the advisor of choice for an impressive list of organizations and leaders on the benefits of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Today, in the 20th edition of Soundbites, we will have Dr. Soundarya explaining us which is among the pack is important. Is it diversity, equity, or inclusion in order to create an inclusive organization? Over to you, Dr. Soundarya.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion are absolutely essential for an organization to truly leverage the power of culture. Diversity, as we know, is about representation. It's about ensuring that underrepresented talent pools are all present in your workplace. Equity is a procedure, a process by which you identify those career enablers which are necessary for every individual to rise to the fullest of their potential. Inclusion is that magical coming together of everyone, of having that acceptance that different people will be different and will require different enablers, and having that empathy and consideration for everybody who doesn't look like you, speak like you, or behave like you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Soundarya, for that insightful explanation that would enable organizations to keep a measurable check on their DEI initiatives. Today, we have two eminent speakers talking about the DEI best practices at Sodexo India. Ms. Leah Dango, Segment Director, who heads the Pharmaceuticals and FMCG segment in Sodexo India, covering 200 plus sites spread over 10 states with approximately over 10,000 employees reporting under her leadership. Leah, with more than 20 years of experience in senior leadership roles in supply chain and logistics and facility management. Her experience cuts across different industry verticals with in-depth understanding of global supply chain solutions. Leah believes client centricity is the gateway to a world of learning and growing together. She believes value creation is critical in all spheres of life and hence relies on building and nurturing her team towards innovative ways of service delivery. Leah has been an ambassador of diversity and workplace through her career and promotes sustainability as the key mantra for the future. Our next speaker for the day, Mr. Pradeep Chavda, HR Director at Sodexo India, is currently managing one of the largest workforces for the company with over 47,000 employees covering 8 major regions. Pradeep leads and drives the talent management strategy as an instrument of business transformation and developing agile leaders. He is responsible for building a robust and sustainable people culture to foster creativity and innovation, performance, compliance, and a good governance, thereby providing the organization an edge to deliver on its promise of offering quality of life services both to employees as well as the key stakeholders. He is strongly committed to diversity, equity, and inclusion agenda and has driven significant changes within the organization, making Sodexo a recognized leader in the area. Pradeep brings with him diverse HRD skill sets and capabilities acquired by working with large-scale Indian MNCs in both national and international environments for over 20 years now. Over to you, Leah and Pradeep.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion is Sodexo's organizational philosophy. We are the country's 10th largest recruiter, and our assets on the balance sheet is nothing but our very own people. Why is diversity so important to Sodexo? A wise man once said, "Unfortunately, in God we trust, for everything else we need data." And data has proven to us that well-diverse and gender-balanced sites outperform the other sites in every KPI metrics that we measure. And therefore, diversity becomes the very cornerstone of the fabric of Sodexo's DNA. Diversity for us just doesn't mean gender diversity, but also means bringing in people with disabilities of different kinds, as well as hiring of the transgender community. And therefore, we at Sodexo have made inclusive policies and provided a great ecosystem for our gender diverse teams to thrive and grow professionally within the organization. Now, how are we trying to address this or provide the right ecosystem to our gender diverse force? 75 to 80% of our employees are frontline employees. And whilst diversity is talked about in most of the white collar jobs, we believe in making this a reality for our blue collar employees as well. And those are our very own frontline employees. Now let me give you an example in terms of what are we doing for this. We provide a wide range of technical engineering services across most of our sites. Now, we've trained women to become forklift drivers, the first of its kind within the country. We've trained women to become STP operators. We've trained women to become electrical technicians. And that's something we want to deliver at our sites by walking to talk. Women entrepreneurship. Now, how are we supporting this work? You have a lot of women that are ready to do work or offer work on a part-time basis. Let's take, for example, our food services. Now, you know, during lunchtime, there's nothing better than getting a hot chapati or a hot hand bread on your plate, and that is equal to consumer delight. Now, we've hired women entrepreneurs who are ready to work with us on a part-time basis to provide us with support on our food services of this kind. And this is just one of the examples. How do we support them? We look at the quality. We make sure they are not the L1 providers, which means they don't have to compromise on the cost. However, we also give them extended credit periods. And this is the work that our supply chain team is doing from a procurement perspective in terms of aiding and growing women entrepreneurs within our supply chain vertical. Secondly, we look at the engineering services that we are providing at our sites. We have made sure that our women workers are skilled and reskilled and upskilled by providing them various training courses. We have forklift operators in women at some of our sites. We have health safety guardians at some of our sites. We have women in STP operations at others. So therefore, we are allowing the women to come into technical careers and make a professional career with us as an organization. We provide engineering services at most of our sites, and we are upskilling and reskilling our women employees to make sure that they know how to drive forklifts, to manage and support production lines, to be STP operators, something that is very unheard of in our industry, of which there are very few takers. To enhance diversity, we are offering mentorship programs, second careers, as well as part-time employment for most of our women employees, so that they can have a flourishing career as well as take care of their responsibilities whilst they are at home. And how are we enhancing diversity? And we make sure that we are walking the talk. We have been connected with NGOs, skilling agencies, with various kinds of organizations that bring women back to our workforce. We are providing them an environment of not just paper-made policies, but a true environment where they can flourish and grow in their careers with us. And Sodexo is just not reliant on paper-made policies. We are genuinely working towards providing an ecosystem to our diverse workforce to make sure they flourish and have the right careers within the organization. We have zero tolerance policies for any kind of violations or any kind of issues. Counseling, mentorship, part-time careers, making sure that women are very, very comfortable. We have something that's called a speak up policy where women can fearlessly voice their opinions or concerns that they have at the workplace. Each and every employee of the organization has to undergo a POSH training, so they are very aware of how they treat our women employees at sites and at the workplace. Spirit of Inclusion is our flagship training program to help our team members improve diversity at our sites. By 2025, we want to make sure we reach a 33% in terms of diverse. About my very own experience with Sodexo. It's been 2 years since I've been here, but there's never a day that I have forgotten about the work that I'm supposed to do in diversity, equity, and inclusion. Like I mentioned before, it's the very fabric and the DNA of the Sodexo organization. I've been very privileged to have seniors and leadership team both in the country, region, and globally support me with this vision of mine. Sodexo is an extremely welcoming organization when we talk about DE&I. And I stand as witness for the work that has happened with me. I've been put on mentorship programs. From mentorship, I've progressed to coaching programs. And today I am gladly offering coaching to make sure that my teams bring up a more inclusive and gender balanced workforce at their sites. Sodexo is a people organization. People are at the heart of what we do. People are the essence of what we do. It is for this reason that I joined this organization, and with great pride I can say, welcome. Welcome to all those who embrace diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is a great place to work, and I'm sure you will flourish in your professional careers once you join this wonderful organization. Our growth philosophy rests on making every day better for everyone at work. And when our people prosper is when the organization will prosper. We provide engineering services to most of our clients, and it is the need of the hour to make sure that we have gender balanced teams. Some of the work that we have been doing is upskilling our women employee to become forklift drivers, to work in areas of engineering and utilities like technicians, STP operators, including making sure that we have women employees at factory sites delivering on health, safety, and environment parameters. Diversity is no longer a paper metric for us at Sodexo. It is a business imperative. Now, what is the work we have been doing around improving of diversity? It's a collaborative effort across various disciplines and functions that we have at Sodexo. Right from the RFU stage of our business development teams make sure that we have a cultural match with organizations that support our cause for diversity. We have targets that are given to all of our sites to make sure we leave no stone unturned in terms of driving the diversity agenda across our sites. Albeit, recruitments are purely done on a merit perspective. Very early on in the business cycle, we make sure we reach out to our clients and ask them how they would like to support us in terms of the diversity agenda. And once we have that, we propose to them various options. Options where we can have certain positions carved out for people with different kinds of ability. Options to hire transgenders and options to handle and options to hire acid victims. Most of our clients have willingly supported us with this cause and stand with us shoulder to shoulder driving this agenda. We train all of our site leadership to make sure that they welcome people from different and diverse backgrounds and provide them with a safe environment to work. We do realize at times there is always an unconscious bias at work, and we prepare our people to deal with it so that they can allow people from different backgrounds or from a diverse environment, and therefore we train our site leadership to make sure they prepare a safe environment. We expect that all our site leadership focuses on performance and providing consumer-centric services at our sites through the people without worrying about the gender and the backgrounds that they come from, and focus on work performance outside of gender and cultural ethnicity. We are conscious of the fact that unconscious bias can creep in at the workplace at any point in time, and therefore we train our site leadership to make sure they provide the right environment for gender diverse teams to flourish at the workplace.
Thank you, Leah, for the wonderful insight. My name is Pradeep and I'm HR Director for Sodexo India. I'm looking forward to share some of the simple but very, very powerful, impactful initiatives which can certainly ensure that the diversity, equity, and inclusion agenda is on top of the agenda for management, not only for HR people but for leaders across. Before I start the session, I would like to just give you a quick brief in terms of just one second, please. In terms of the organization. Sorry for the technical. Okay. So we started our services in 1997 with just a meal pass company. Most of you actually know Sodexo from the meal pass or the gift pass. However, we are India's largest food service provider. We are India's leading and largest technical service provider. We also provide facility management services, and we do provide facilities into almost all the IT, telecom, auto sector, as well as the most difficult and sensitive environment like airports, as well as barges and certain other sensitive installation. So overall, this provides us an opportunity to be present there across the sector, cutting across various geographies. We are present in almost 1400 sites, which means that 1000 plus cities we are present in, 43,000 plus employees, 600 meals we serve every day. We manage 140 million square feet. And also we are present in sectors like corporate service, healthcare, education, energy and resources. So most of the leading education institutes, schools, all the healthcare services, we are also leading in terms of food, facility management and technical services in these sectors as well. Some of the insights around diversity, equity, inclusion, we have 300 plus women entrepreneurs. They continuously support us on various things like, we have beekeepers, we train them and they supply us honeybees. We have people who are selling food, meals in various IT parks. They are women employees. And before we started this program, their monthly earning was just barely 2,000 rupees. And after formal training to them and after giving them proper equipments and training, at this juncture, they earn almost 15,000 to 35,000 rupees a month. And most of them, they drive either two-wheeler or four-wheeler. And 98% of their kids, they go to school. So our supply chain, it's not only HR, but our supply chain also takes a keen interest into diversity, equity, and inclusion agenda. We have these 300 plus women entrepreneurs. Some of them are chapati makers. Some of them, they supply us some goods and materials. Vegetable growers are there in this particular bucket, and they not only become self-reliant, but they also become an example in the society that yes, women can lead, women can become an entrepreneur, and they lead the family. They actually take charge of the family, and they remain part of corporate ecosystem like Sodexo. Since we have a very focused gender agenda in terms of gender balance, as well as a good amount of policies which supports diversity, equity, and inclusion agenda, our engagement scores have been considerably well. Our engagement scores are 92.6 percentage. 100% of the employees are trained on, managers are trained on spirit of inclusion. This is a program, this is a certification which is mandatory for all site or as well as the managers who are managing teams, and we need to ensure that they are fully trained in terms of creating inclusive environment in the organization. Also, we have sizable number of people with disability in the organization. We have a special shift timing for them. Like if I give you an example, in Mumbai kind of a city, if a person with disability has to travel in the peak hours in the train, it is impossible for them to really come to office and travel. So we have special shift timings for them. We have unique training programs for them. Their managers are trained and sensitized so that they can be a little bit flexible with them. They have different benefits available for them. The offices they visit, these offices are fully supportive to PWD infrastructure. So all those kind of things enables and empowers managers as well as the employees as well as the PWDs to flourish in the organization. Apart from acid attack victims, we have sizable number of employees from trans community as well who are working with us and to various kind of profiles, including the front-ending client profiles. And just to share with you, people with disability, trans people, and especially able people, they smile more often as compared to us, and hence there are better services and client engagement is very very high. As Leah mentioned, we are one of the largest recruiter in India. We recruit almost 23,000 employees every year, and that gives us an opportunity not only to include a lot of people, from various communities, including the locals of the area which we operate, because we also work on creating empowering environment for and creating jobs for the locals where we operate. This also allows us to create various training frameworks and partnership with various kind of training organization, which helps us train them into Sodexo jobs. So there are curated Sodexo jobs available with our 100 plus training partners. They train our employees into these jobs and then later on we hire them. So it's not only about providing the job, but it also about empowering them, training them, later on recruiting them, and also ensuring that they are growing in the organization, their career growth as well. We are among the top 50 employers, best employer in India, and we have a huge focus on training, which focuses also of training people into technical and many other jobs where women are engaged, where people with disabilities are engaged. And if you see the digital inclusion or the employees using the HR system, 98% of the employees or women employees are using the HR system because they get themselves trained. And then later on, I'll talk about various platform available on our HR system, which not only empowers the women employees or people from diverse group, but also empowers and trains their family members through various kind of training curriculum available for their families also through this digital platform. So HRIS doesn't become just a HR system, but it also becomes a system wherein everyone can grow, including the family members. And through our train and hire partners, they actually have access to our HR job sites. So whatever jobs we post on our HR system, they're visible to all our 109 train and hire partners. And they continuously supply women talent, trained women talent on Sodexo courses to Sodexo. And it becomes easy and it becomes a business case for Sodexo to basically induct more and more talent from certain group and communities. Also, we have gender networks, which allows a formal conversation across the organization every quarter. So the gender networks are the network led by a women leader, wherein they talk about career movements, they talk about guiding other women employees how to grow in the organization, and creating various training and learning opportunities for women and other talent, so that everyone, and especially the women in the organization, they grow up in the hierarchy as well. Just to share two of the women leader in Sodexo. One is our own chairwoman Sophie, and other is Mia. Mia is our diversity, equity, inclusion head for global, and they are very clear from the beginning only that this remains the DEI remains as the topmost priority for every leader in the organization. And they speak and they have created various platforms so that this remains as a top priority for all of us. And if you see on the right hand side, we are globally every year we are globally the most preferred employer of choice for LGBT community and ally employees network. And we get this award every year because of our work around trans people and LGBT community. I'm going little slow because a lot of things have been covered by my colleague Leah. But just to share about the gender diversity study which we did recently, and a lot of people and many of the managers, they ask in the organization that what is the business case around hiring women employees? Why should we really hire women employees? Is it really benefiting business XYZ? So here is the business case study on gender diversity I'm sharing with you. So Sodexo did this study. It's an internal research. 50,000 managers were part of the survey, around 7 entities, and 5 years of data. And the statistical analysis shows that if the teams where the gender balance was 40 to 60%, those teams were actually far more better than the other teams, and they had far more better KPIs. What are the KPIs they were better in? Operating margin, which is they were up by +8% in terms of operating margin, which is profitability. Employee retention was very high. Client retention was super high. Safety was also one of the important element which is high in these environment. So if you have an inclusive environment, work environment, and the inclusive balance is there, inclusive policies are there, inclusive culture is there, as well as a good gender balance is there, which is, our study shows that 40 to 60% of the diversity ratio of women really helps us to be better serving our consumers and clients. Also, it gives us profitability and many other business. It keeps us high on many other business KPIs. This is the diversity, equity, and inclusion strategy for us 2021 to 25. And we strongly believe that our certification, which is Spirit of Inclusion certification for every manager, remains as a focus. Beyond Bias is a program wherein the typical bias which we have around gender, around disability, and many other areas are ironed out through a structured year-long program. So the managers are trained around this. Weekly and quarterly inclusion weeks, leadership engagement through the various leadership channels and committees, and also continuous communication to the operating team around these initiatives. And then 4 pillars of the entire strategy is ensuring that we improve our gender balance. We include people with disability and LGBT community into our mainstream jobs. Diversity, equity for the business growth and client engagement. So wherever we connect with our clients, so we have 1400 plus clients. And whenever we are connecting with them, we talk about our inclusion agenda. We talk about including various jobs for various communities across the landscape, and also something around attracting some NGOs partners so that they continuously supply us manpower, because we have spoke about that we are almost 80 to 90% of our employees are blue collar employees. So how do we really have women into these sectors, women into technical job, plumbing job, electrical job? And these kind of talent is not readily available in market. So we need to train them, we need to give them those opportunities. And once they are there, then they become internal allies. Like example, we have a lot of women leader in the organization. They're electricians and they are doing the plumbing and other such kind of job, but they train other women employees also, and then they make a big nice group, and then they cascade their technical skills to the other women, and that way you can see the entire thing progressing well. And hence all stakeholders are communicated very well in the organization as well as outside the organization, so that they understand the core intent behind the strategy. Some of the policies and procedures which I would like to talk about is that in recruitment, it is mandated that a recruiter needs to have equal slate. So when the final shortlist candidate is there, there should be one woman or one man candidate. Obviously, at the end, merit comes into place, and then the final shortlisted candidate could be men or women. But yes, the recruiter has to really put an effort to ensure that there is an equal slate available. Similarly, there are better reference bonus available. The referral bonuses are better. They are 150% of the normal referral bonuses. If you refer a women talent, you get a higher bonus. As well as we have a program called Pragati, wherein the employees, these are some of the sites where some kind of targets are given to them, so that if we grow women talent, because if they have a lesser gender ratio there, then some kind of targets are given, which is while some of you have a strong opinion that whether we should give targets or not, but yes, some of the places, some of the pockets, we need to do that, so that we have equal representation, we have equal focus across. One of the initiative like spouse hiring, which is very unique to Sodexo. We hire husband wife together, and we never face any problem into doing this. And that's where you are doubling up the income of the family also, and you are also allowing the women employee to work. And sometimes, suppose a male counterpart has joined in Mumbai, we do ask in the interview that where is your wife, and the wife is in Bihar. Then we provide them opportunity in Bihar also. The wife works in Bihar, and the husband is in Mumbai, and hence it becomes the conflict of interest, and all those challenges which HR people shares are not there. Also, second career, for women who are on break, and women who want to work on part time are available. Some of the things here in terms of policies and inclusive workplace environment, we have a very clear committee available, ICC committee, POSH committee, so that they ensure that they safeguard the interest of women employees. Gender neutral titles. So you would have heard a lot of the gender bias titles like office boy and pantry boy. We operate into housekeeping also, and we operate into facility management. So we have eliminated those 100 plus designations, and the pantry boy has been converted into pantry assistant, and and basically office boy has been converted to office assistant. The moment HR changes the designation, you start seeing the women employees coming into those roles. So somewhere the HR becomes a barrier rather than a facilitator, and our policies has to be really, inclusive, so that we are able to create an environment where everyone can thrive. Also, flexible work policies, and various consultants, they come for various kind of sessions for women's safety, how to safeguard yourself while traveling in public vehicle, and many other things are there, which I think most of the companies are doing it. Gender network is active since 2011. Women employees have global mentors and coaches available, so that they grow and their growth remain as a focus area. Gender ambassadors are people who conduct various training for frontline employees. Gender networks are ensuring that the career development are taken care. Our talent management person is actually also taking part into the gender network and ensuring that the women employees are growing in the organization, and they provide certain kind of support and everything. And diversity, triathlon, and reporting, governance, everything is part of this. Some of the areas which we really need to look into is, just 1 second. Sorry for the noise. Okay. So 10% of the performance bonus of leadership team at the site level, they are dedicated to the diversity equity topics. Also, recognition program. I'll take a pause, please. Sorry for the interruption. There was a bit of noise. Yeah, so we have some recognition programs like Angel Sites, which takes care of a site which has more than 40% gender balance. We actually certified them as Angel Sites. Some of the uniforms, because we do have uniform in our office, so uniforms are women friendly. So it's, basically, it's very remote area. There are challenges around uniform, and how can we create systems and policies and procedures which are comfortable to the cultural element and many other things. So while some of you might feel that this is not so great, but this does matter when you really go into deep rural and when you operate into such environment. Also, there are some policies, and that there are some job mappings, online portal. We have a dedicated online portal for disabled friendly jobs. There are NGOs who can access to our job portals. Equal opportunity policy for PWDs. managers inclusion guide. There's a guide available for managers for inclusion, and various other facilities. Like I'll give you one simple facility like micro loan. So on a click of a button, women employees can get a micro loan of 5,000 rupees to 50,000 rupees through our banking partner in just few hours only. And you will see that while the amount is very small, but it is so empowering and so much useful, because some of the women have employees have taken, because they are operating from a very remote locations, they've taken two-wheelers to come to office. Some of them are single mother, have taken care of their kids higher education fee and many other things. So while the HR policies needs to be there, but I'm saying that we also need to be very simple, and we need to be very humble in our approach, and ensuring that the right kind of policies and procedures are available. We spoke about gender balance. We spoke about some of the local business entrepreneurs created by Sodexo, including the vegetable growers who are women employees. They come and they take training from us, they grow, they go back, they collaborate with the banking partner, get the loan, take a land on a rental, and then grow vegetables as per our guidelines. We buy it from them at a higher price, and all those things are done. But what I'm trying to say is that the agenda and the focus of the EI is not just HR, but leadership, but also other departments comes into picture. And one of the example is the food waste, where in our corporate service department, they along with the diversity, inclusion, and equity head, they do various initiatives so that the food wastage is avoided, and hence we create some areas. So here are some of the examples that under the mango tree, we are actually increasing the earnings and equipping, increasing the earning of the women farmers. Then there are some groups where we are actually recycling the papers and buying these kind of material from them. And then there are some food packet donation by food waste program, and ensuring that we don't waste these kind of things. Then we have a specific internship program for specially able people, and these are through various partners, various companies where we provide our services. And through this particular program, we also provide not only training to specially able people, but also we give them employment opportunity in the organization. So we have various esteemed client who have partnered with us in such programs, and hence created opportunity for them. 100% women are using the HR app, and there is a button in the app which is called SOS button. So anytime if any women feel unsafe, even the domestic violence or maybe some kind of medical help is required, they can just click on the SOS button, and immediately ambulance or a police or some immediate manager or HR can go and help the employee. And similarly, some mobile courses online, 24/7 employee assistance program in 8 languages, family training on various kind of training program for family. In fact, to kids also we give education guidance, and dedicated counselors are available where women employees can contact these counselors, what to do after 10th and 12th and graduation. I want to get my kid into example aeronautic engineering, what to do. So those kind of guidance are also given in by these particular services. And job portals to access job alerts. So there are internal jobs available, so women employees can apply to those jobs and get promoted, transfer. They want to go nearest to your to their hometown. Sometimes even 5 kilometer matters for many of our blue collar employees. So can they go 5 or 10 kilometer also close to their home also matters. Similarly, those NGOs have access to our job portals and some kind of dashboards and R&R. Pragati side, I already told about. So together, a bit of thing I touched upon, that these are women networks. They meet every quarter, and HR as well as DEI team, everyone goes and participate into these kind of initiatives. Sodexo Win Back program has been the most successful and flagship program of Sodexo. So if any employee, any women employees have left the organization, we have an alumni portal, and we constantly reach out to these employees, and we try to rehire them. And by the way, 40% of our hiring, we are able to complete it through our ex-employees only. Either they refer a candidate, or they come and join us back because they see Sodexo as an organization to really work with. And very few companies have such a high amount of positive employer branding. Like, almost 89% of these employees who have left us, they want to join us back because they had a great experience in this in Sodexo. And through this program, they have an app also where they can connect and they can see various jobs and they can join us back. And similarly, the part-time jobs are available for women employees, family hiring. Eco Kitchen is also, I spoke about it, that we train these women to sell food in various IT parks and then increase their livelihood. And most of them were single mother, and they were actually the major bread earner they are the major bread earner of the family now after the formal training. So thank you everyone for your patient listening, and I'm been and try to give you a little bit of flavor so that so that we are actually we understand that there is beyond the great initiative, there are simple initiative also which can really create a larger impact. So thank you everyone.
Thank you so much, Pradeep, for this insightful session. So we do have a few questions from our audience. So in the earlier session, Leah had, spoken about, talking about diversity ratio to be up to 33% by 2025. So if you could tell us what is the roadmap that Sodexo has for the same? Like, are you looking to hire second career women as well? Could you tell us a bit about that?
Certainly, we see the gig working model as a great opportunity in future to include a lot of women talent, because in the future is about flexible environment. Future is about one can work at any time. Future is about working in multiple platforms and everything. So we are actually working towards creating a technology of mobile teams. Actually, they can work from anywhere, everywhere. Also, we are trying to break the barrier in the mind itself, because the issue is around the technical job cannot be done by XYZ. Those kind of mindset, the barrier is there. So we are breaking that barrier by formally inducting women into technical jobs, into food. Chefs, chef and chef de party. Many such roles are there where women can play a key role, and because we are one of the largest food supplier, so we see that in our food industry, in our food business, in our technical business, as well as into our facility services business, we see a huge potential of women coming into it. And the strategy is around ensuring that we provide multiple platform, including the gig platform, which is the futuristic. Obviously, our digital HR agenda allows all our employees to stay connected with us on our HR system, so that even ex-employees, they stay connected with us. We have 80,000 plus ex-employees. They are constantly in touch with us, and they supply manpower, and they supply the references to, and also open policies. Example, companies have not tried a spouse hiring, but we did try spouse hiring. We have eliminated retirement also in our company, that we don't want to retire employee. We tell for three years before only to the retiring employee that we are not going to retire you. So you can see the performance going up rather than going down the board level. So I think somewhere HR needs to think differently in the coming, and I think it's a very good question that the roadmap has to be very clear. And yes, we do have a clear roadmap. The strategy slide which I had shown in my presentation actually talks about a roadmap only, that how the four pillars are going to get addressed in future, so that we have the right gender balance.
Sure. Thank you for that, Pradeep. So the next question would be, you implemented Pragati, right? So you also drove something called She Works in the year 2019. Right. So can you tell us about your journey of being an ally at Sodexo to being an advocate today? If you could tell us about it.
Certainly, the Pragati was a very important and flagship program which we started long back. I think it is going on since quite some time back, wherein the site leadership team or operations, there are some of the sites which are identified as a high potential sites where the women talent is available, because there are a lot of locations where I think because of the cultural reason explicit, but there are some low hanging fruits are there where we can certainly do better. So these are the sites where we can certainly do better, using the statistical analysis, including the data from various government bodies, and also our own data which we use called predictive churn model, where we find that there are some certain pockets where we can potentially hire women. So those places, basically it's not just about hiring women employees, but starting from training, the mindset change, the kind of jobs available in those vicinities and those sites. How are we activating various NGO partners? So it actually is a plethora of initiative which is done both in the Pragati and She Works. And She Works in wherein we actually provide internship opportunity for women employees in Sodexo. So there are a lot of interns which are hired at a certain point of time, and the moment they join us as an intern, they complete their internship. Most of them they get absorbed in the company. So these are kind of a platform available for the talent to come and get inducted themselves to Sodexo. And also we also learn a lot from these platforms, that how do we need to be flexible, creating that agility, XYZ. Example, we got to know that the women, their major concern is education of the kid, actually their own kids and everything. So the moment we launched this kids education guide and some EAP program wherein the counselors can help them with these smaller things. So the moment we launched our microloan facility also. So these are all the outcome of these smaller programs which we did, and and employees giving us feedback, and we launched some of the program back.
That's great. Thank you so much for that. Moving on to the next question. In one of the large media houses article, you've been named as one of the male Sheryl Sandbergs of India. So tell us, about some of the challenges that you had faced when you had to become the male, Sheryl Sandberg at Sodexo. If you could tell us a bit.
Right. So there is always, when there is a challenge, it means that there is a big opportunity actually. And I think the HR team and myself, we've always taken that if there is a challenge, it means that there is a big opportunity lying ahead of us. And hence, I think the challenge was that we needed talent, but business says that we need trained people. So and then there is no trained talent available in the market, like readily available. Like if you want to find an electrician, which is a women electrician, it is very difficult. And Leah spoke about the forklift drivers, who can manage that entire weight, and they can drive this. And there are a lot of safety protocols around forklift drivers and everything. So where do we get this talent was one of the challenge, because even if business is ready to have more and more women employees, and hence the entire partnership model came into picture, wherein what we do that we use a thing called predictive churn analysis, and we identify that these are the X number of jobs we are going to hire in future, and basis on that we inform our partners well in advance, 3 months before, 4 months before, that this is our future pipeline. So they are given targets to train women employees into those kind of skill sets and jobs and everything. And later on, we actually, when these employees are trained on Sodexo courses, and when they get interviewed by my client also, or by my operating team also, they know in and out about, example, we have some cleaning agent and chemicals which are used to clean this various kind of surfaces. And it is a very technical job, but if they're trained on the chemical usage of chemicals and how to safely use it in XYZ, even a fresh women employee comes for an interview, they are far more better than the experienced people, because they've been formally trained and inducted from there. So I think I'm just giving one example, that one of the challenge which we had was non-availability of talent. And that is what typically, most of the HR people will say, that there are no talent. I want to hire women talent. I want to hire trans people, but where are they available? But then if they're not available, we need to create that ecosystem which supports the similar thing. Similarly, not all employees, all women employees, or all trans employees, or people with disability, they want to work in full-time job. So then the question came is that how do we engage supply chain department into this? And to our wonder, supply chain department did almost a job as good as HR probably in many of the organizations, and they created an entire ecosystem of 300 vendors or partners who supply us various things, starting from vegetable to honey and many other things. And then, so there, such people have a complete flexibility to work at any given point of time, and they are suppliers, and that way they are creating empowering environment. So I think somewhere, if the challenge is there, it means the opportunity is there, and we can certainly do wonders when we walk in the right direction.
Totally agree with it, Pradeep. So moving on to the next question. So what would be your advice that you would give, to anyone who wants to begin being an ally at a workplace, what would be your advice to the audience?
I think my advice is to remain focused on the key business priority, because we cannot exclude this agenda from the business agenda. And sometimes don't consider this thing to be a good to do things. This is a must to do thing, because if you see our uh, the gender survey which we did for 50,000 managers, it clearly says that the better balanced teams in terms of gender balance and inclusive environment, it creates a far more better engaging client interaction, profitability, growth, and many other things. So if you are seeing this as a separate agenda, then it is going to be very difficult. But if you see this as a business agenda, and if we actually we sell our products, or we go to our client and consumers and tell them about the diversity story of our company and how we have actually come across that, then the entire game changes actually, and then the real thing comes. And in reality also, I think what I strongly believe that our policies, procedures, HR department, and managers, who we are actually a barrier in reality, and we are a barrier. So if we really come out of the entire thing, then the entire environment changes. So, and reality is that we are a barrier. If we move out, if we move ourselves as a barrier, and we become a facilitator, then the entire policies, processes will change. The ecosystem will be ready to support, and all those things can happen. So I think my only thing is that stay connected with the business requirement, connect the diversity, equity, inclusion agenda with the business needs. And also the equity talks about removing the barriers which does not foster the involvement of a diverse group in the organization, and become a facilitator. So that's what I can say.
Well said, very well said, Pradeep. So, in your presentation, you had mentioned that there are 4 gender networks. So, are these networks the ERGs that also worked for women who go on maternity breaks and return to work? So, could you elaborate more on this?
Certainly. So yeah, gender networks, they are actually, because we have divided India into 4 regions, and every region has a gender network chaired by a women leader. And the all the women employees, as well as the allies of supporting the diversity, they actually meet with a proper agenda. One of the agenda is to actually the career development of women employees in the organization. What kind of training, what kind of support framework, which XYZ, which needs to be put into these framework. So so these are formal setups, and these they meet very regularly. They articulate the challenges and barriers in terms of the growth and everything. Then they present it to the leadership team, and the leadership team actually tries to improvise on it. And yes, I think it does have element of the second career, or making the employee back in the organization. Example, in our during the maternity period, I'll give you one small example, that sometimes what happens that women employees are asked to join us after 4 months, 5 months, but then we realize that the kid is so small that the family pressure is there to take care of the kid, and then we end up losing that women talent. So, but if the HR tells them that okay, you take a 2 years of break, 3 years of break, and I will engage 6 months in advance with the right kind of career opportunity for that women employees, we can even extend the leaves, and we don't employee need not to really leave the organization. So we do to have flexi working, wherein the women employee can work for 4 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours, and we do also allow them for long leave also, so that they can join us back in the right kind of framework. And we do have an example of somebody took a 3 years of break and joining us back. But also when they join back, the talent management team has to engage with the employee at least 6 months, 7 months in advance, so that the right kind of job is offered. Otherwise, the job offered is also a little bit of compromising. So these are the things which comes out of the discussion.
Certainly, certainly, very true. So, we just want to know, what are the initiatives that Sodexo has for career continuum for a women professional who joins in the front line? So, if you could tell us about this.
Yes, so I think there are for the senior leadership, Leah already spoke about it, that we have coaches, we have mentors, we have global coach, which helps them to really grow and everything. But for frontline, we do have a buddy system. We do have our partners. They train them well in advance before joining the organization. Then we do have some so link and so connect kind of a session, which are similar to the town hall, which most of the companies have it. We have some R&R. We have angel site certification, so every site is getting certified as angel site, if they have more than 40%. We have sizable site which is fully run by women employees, 100% run by women employees. However, that is also an extreme, but I'm just sharing that thing. So yeah, I think these are the things. And somewhere the ownership of site manager and the pragati target, as well as bonuses are linked with the women related KPIs, which includes the growth of women, also training completion of women, as well as hiring of women. So all those things will happen.
Great, great. Thank you so much, Pradeep. I'm sure the audience would have enjoyed the sessions, and thank you so much for all your answers too. And thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone, and thanks to you also, Archana, for facilitating this session. I'm delighted to stay connected with everyone. If you have any questions, please put it on my LinkedIn account, and I'll certainly assist you with that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Pradeep and Leah, for the wonderful session. So tomorrow, we have in our Pride and Beyond segment, we will be having Mahotsav, Senior Director, Global RE Risk and EHS. With almost 30 years of experience, Mahua has worked across various areas like IT delivery, quality assurance, and process control and process management. Process evangelization, knowledge management, risk management, environment, health, and safety too. She has a bachelor degree in the meteorological engineering and master's in manufacturing systems engineering from Florida Atlantic University, USA. She is currently implementing EHS processes globally for Cognizant. Mahua always had strong views on making the workplace and society a level playing field for all. Building an inclusive culture has become a deep conviction and passion for her. She has anchored and built the LGBTQ affinity group, Embrace in Cognizant, and is a part of the Embrace Global Leadership Team. Being a member of Swikar, the Rainbow Parents Group, she is active in driving sensitization programs across Cognizant and college campuses on LGBTQ. Firm in the belief that awareness and education alone can build the bridge to wholesome acceptance, she loves to drive these through tough conversations. We look forward to having you all join us tomorrow at 4 p.m. for this session. Also, catch the agenda for the rest of the week at our portal myavatar.com. Once again, on behalf of Team Avatar and myavatar.com, I thank each one of you and welcome you to the rest of Diversity Mahotsav through December. Once again, we would like to thank our partners, Ideology Partners, Cognizant, HCL Technologies Limited and Strive, supporting partners, Faurecia India Private Limited, Logitech Engineering and Designs Private Limited, Saint Gobain India Private Limited, Sodexo and Xorian Solutions, followed by a community partner, NASCOM. Our social media hashtags are hashtag Diversity Mahotsav, hashtag Celebrity Diversity. Do post your experience at Diversity Mahotsav on your social media handles with the hashtags. If you haven't registered yourself at myavatar.com, please log on today at myavatar.com and register yourself. Explore various opportunities and activities at our portal that celebrate diversity. Browse through to find jobs that might suit your skill set, read articles of interest, and upskill yourself through various webinars conducted exclusively for you. Do join us tomorrow, sharp at 4 p.m. for yet another insightful session. You can also view the hashtag Diversity Mahotsav series on our YouTube channel, which is Avatar, the Power of Diversity. The link is posted in the chat box. In case you missed our previous days, please do click on the YouTube link to to watch our previous episodes. This is Archana signing off. Till then, have a great evening. Mask up, stay safe.